The time is now 7:03. I would like to call the order the Beloit City Council meeting this evening. Can we have roll call, please?
All councilors are present.
Second item is Pledge of Allegiance. May we all stand? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Third item of the agenda is special orders of the day and announcements. 3A, please.
This evening, we have comments from the UW-Whitewater Chancellor, Beverly Copper, to discuss the University of Wisconsin system restructuring.
Thank you. Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. I'm Beverly Copper, and most of my time is spent at the University of Wisconsin Whitewater, 800 West Main Street, but I do live in Rock County at 12639 East Glacial Crest Drive in Whitewater.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, first of all, let me thank you for the opportunity to come here this evening and talk with you about the UW-Whitewater restructuring. And I wanted to share with you some information. And certainly if anyone had any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those or try to answer those. There's still many questions that do remain unanswered. But in November, on November 9th, the UW System Board of Regents approved a restructuring for the UW system. And as a result of that restructuring, UW Rock County will be joining UW Whitewater. And so I'll share with you that the next day, I took a team over to UW Rock, and we met with a leadership team, we met with students and faculty and staff, and certainly one of the things that we discovered are many of our similarities. We are two institutions that are laser focused on student success and really take great pride in our access mission, being affordable, and certainly, again, being focused on our students and their success. This is an opportunity that this restructuring I see as very exciting. I think it poses many very positive opportunities, increased opportunities for partnerships in the region. And so it's something that I wanted to share with you that I'm very excited about. And I'm very, very interested in hearing your thoughts and also including you in the process. So I do hope that hopefully this looks familiar and that you have all received an invitation to an event that we're doing on March 3rd. It's a Saturday morning where really the idea is to bring together government leaders, community leaders, business leaders to join us in really talking about what is our vision going forward in terms of higher education in our region, and really talking about that and sharing ideas and really viewing that as the important partnership that it is. So that is really, I could go on about many things related to it, but I certainly, if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer those. I should share that if approved by our accreditor, the Higher Learning Commission, this will go into effect July 1 of 2018. So the goal is to have that this restructuring, this coming together of UW Rock County and UW Whitewater occur July 1. Now again, a lot of information has been sent to the Higher Learning Commission. That will all be under review for the next several months, and certainly that's a key. They must approve this for it to go forward. But again, I remain very excited about all of the potential, all of the opportunities that this restructuring will bring to us. So I'd like to stop again, and if there are any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those.
Any questions? Councilor Blakely.
Would you like some water? No, that's not my question. Will the campus in Janesville remain intact as it is, or what kind of physical changes will be included in this restructuring?
Well, I'll share with you that the buildings and the land are owned and maintained by the county. by Rock County. And at the moment, the plan is that all of those buildings, all of those structures certainly will remain. What I'm very excited about and interested in is I know the county has talked about the possibility of a residence hall being connected with UW-Rock County. That's something I would be very supportive of. I think that will open up many opportunities. The other thing that we're also looking at, and as a part of this, when this was first announced by UW System, we formed a restructuring committee, UW-Rock County did. Once it was approved by the board, we combined that committee. And one of the things we're looking at are all the curricular possibilities. So, the programs that have been offered at UW-Rock County, the plan at the moment is to have those continue, and we're talking about how might we expand the programming. Certainly UW-Whitewater, we have a special mission to serve non-traditional students, our veterans, and many of those programs we would like to even expand at the UW-Rock County campus. And certainly I know they're very committed to being accessible and serving those non-traditional students as well.
Councilor Prisco, then I give you.
Will this be like a fluid arrangement between Whitewater and Rock County so that it'll be all one UW Whitewater? And, what happens to the existing, engineering program with Platteville and those kind of things? But I mean, will it be like just a UW Whitewater with two locations eventually?
Right now, and again, some of this will be dependent on the Higher Learning Commission, and and some of these details are yet to be worked out. We will come together, as the proposal as it was first made was that we will join together and become one. However, I think the goal is to not only make sure that students have those opportunities they have now, like you mentioned, our engineering articulation with Platteville, and for example, and so those opportunities, whether it's that opportunity, if that is something Platteville wants to continue, would continue. We're certainly looking at ways to how do we expand programming. We receive a lot of transfer students from UW-Rock County. Certainly students would have the opportunity to continue to be a part of us, but they certainly could transfer to other institutions. The goal always is student success, what meets the needs of students. And if, for example, transferring to say Platteville would be their choice, that would be certainly something that we would support. However, having said that, we're looking at, again, expanding the programs that we can offer as well at UW-Rock County with this joining together.
Vice President Duncan.
First, I would just like to say thank you for all your efforts. One of the things that we've been hearing as counselors is we hear that people want jobs. And so I'm happy that you're expanding the programs. And so we will have people in the community that will have access to be able to have the skills they need in order to get and maintain and retain these jobs. But one of the questions I have is how many students do you anticipate being able to serve at the facility?
Well, right now, we're looking at ways that we can expand. So I believe that, we serve at UW-Whitewater over 12,000 students. At UW-Rock County, I believe it's over 1,000 students. Now, again, in terms of serving our non-traditional students, some of those courses are online, some of them, on the evening, on weekends, and so forth. And we want to be flexible to meet the needs of those students and those working adults in our community. So our hope is to expand the numbers that we are able to serve through this coming together, through the restructuring, and be able to even provide more programming. One of the things that, again, I'm really, really excited about, and I hope all of you would attend the March 3rd event, is to hear from each of you, business leaders, community leaders, to say, these are the needs that we have, that we really want, we'd love for you to do even more with, or these are other needs we'd love for you to address. And so by all of us coming together and sharing those ideas, those suggestions, that's what I'm really excited about in terms of the opportunities that this restructuring presents.
And it kind of follow up to that, and I think you are alluding to it at this time, but we have several businesses that we go after to come to the city. I'm sure you're familiar that we're going to be having a casino coming soon. And one of the things that this council has pushed all along is having a workforce ready for the businesses that come to Beloit. So as you're talking about your curriculum and course selections, I don't know if there's a way to tune in with the economic development directors in the area and saying, what jobs do you have coming here? Because we want to make sure that our residents are ready for the jobs when we recruit companies to come here. So I don't know if that's something that you could put into your plan to saying, talk with the economic development and say, when the casino gets here, we want to make sure that, as Vice President Duncan said, that some of our residents are ready to walk into those positions, and not only the casino, but several jobs that come here. And so,
Absolutely. And I'll share with you that one of the things that we take great pride in at UW-Whitewater is having our students, having our graduates be job ready. And a part of what we do and across all of our curriculum is we really focus on what we refer to as high impact practices that prepare students so that right out of the gate, when they graduate, they are ready. They are workforce ready. And we're also very interested and have actually designed several of our programs around input and feedback that we've received from the business community. And that's, I see, as it's sort of in our DNA and one of the strengths that we have. So we're very much interested in supporting all of the efforts related to not only economic development, but workforce development, and making sure that when our graduates go into the workforce, they are ready, and we take great pride in that.
okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? City Manager Luther.
So I think it's just incredibly timely. We just had a new intern start in the city manager's office. He's a senior at Whitewater and studying public administration. So part of his senior coursework is to complete a number of hours in practice. And so we're thrilled to have him. And timing just turned out that you were coming this evening. So
Super.
just wanted to let the council know we have another intern in the office who will be here through the end of the spring semester.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you. That's one of the things, an example of one of the things we focus on. So our students have internships, undergraduate research, depending on their major, so they have those applied real-world experiences, so they're ready.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate having the opportunity to be here with you this evening, and I hope to see you on March 3rd.
Okay, thank you. Item 4, public hearings, 4A, please.
Consideration of a resolution 2018-18 authorizing a conditional use permit for property located at 419 Pleasant Street for rooftop seating and ATM.
Thank you. There have been changes to this item on the agenda, so at this time I would entertain a motion to refer this back to Plan Commission.
Yes.
Is there such a motion?
I so move.
Motion by Councilor Forback, second by Councilor Duncan. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor of referring it back to Plan Commission, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 7-0. Item 5, public comments. We've reached a point on the agenda where citizens may come forward to speak on items that's not on the agenda. We do ask you to limit your comments to 3 minutes. I will not cut you off at 3 minutes, but I'll give you a friendly reminder. We do ask you to refrain from personal attacks on council members, staff, or anyone else. If you do go down that road of personal attacks, I will end your comments immediately. At this time, I do not have anyone who's signed to speak, but is there anyone wishing to speak under public comments this evening? Come forward, state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Kyle Larson, and I live at 1325 10th Street here in Beloit. I came to introduce myself to the City Council because I am running for school board. I worked at Robinson for 3.5 years, and I left last year because I knew that there was a better way to become an advocate for our community and for our students. While on the school board, I want to focus on reallocating funds to lower class sizes. They're much too high for a community like ours, as well as address mental health issues that are in our schools and discipline, and then also work with administration to decrease the teacher turnover in our district. It's really high, and we need to keep the great teachers that we have. I've been visiting the schools over the last couple of weeks, and I am just amazed at the principals and the teachers that we still have and who are working very hard every day. So I want to be on the school boards that can be their cheerleader and serve them and the community and the students in a different way.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak under citizen public comments this evening? Third and final call. Anyone else wishing to speak under public comments this evening? Seeing no one else, I would like to close that portion of the agenda. Move to item 6 on the consent agenda, please.
All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a counselor so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point on the agenda.
Is there any item that any counselor would like anything removed from the consent agenda? Counselor Jacobson.
I would like item 6F.
6F will be removed from the consent agenda. Anyone else like anything else removed from the consent agenda? Counselor Forback, is your light just on from previous comments? Just want to make sure. Okay, thank you. So the consent agenda will consist of items 6A, B, C, D, E, and G. Is there a motion to approve that portion of the consent agenda? Motion by Blakely, second by Duncan. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes. To item 6F, I believe we removed this off because Counselor Jacobson would like to abstain from this. With that being stated, is there a motion for approval of 6F? Motion by Preschel. Is there a second? Second by Anderson. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 6-0 with one abstain. Item 7, licenses. 7A, please.
This is consideration of Resolution 2018-17, approving the 2017 through 19 applicants for an alcohol beverage operator's bartender license for the period January 5th through the 31st. What you have before you is 26 operators being recommended for approval and no denials.
Okay, is there a motion for approval? Motion by Jacobson. It's second by Duncan. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 7-0. Item 8 is ordinances. We have none this evening. Item 9, appointments. None this evening. Item 10, council activities and upcoming events. Councilor Forback.
Well, I wanted to mention that Drew Pennington did a good job of combining everybody's good input for our online survey. So all citizens who are listening to this, please fill this out. We really need everybody's input. It's going to help us do our strategic plan for the next many years. And so if you can go in and fill that out, we'd really appreciate it. And it'll make a difference in what's decided to do. And the second thing I wanted to say, I, along with hundreds of other community members, attended Mark Pruschel's gallery show at the Beloit Art Center, and it was just magnificent. Many of us can remember back when we didn't have beautiful pictures of Beloit, and I'm telling you, my fellow counselor here has done a wonderful job of really giving us some wonderful shots, and I wish I'd known him earlier so I could have had him with me for the first 5 years of Riverfest where we don't have any pictures. But anyway, I just want to congratulate him, and it was a wonderful community event. Really, hundreds of people were there. It was great.
Councilor Preschel.
Well, I guess I better mention how grateful I am for the opportunity and the honor of being asked to have a show at the Beloit Art Center. I had no idea that was ever going to be down the road for me or any of this really, but it all started because I wanted to make sure people got to see this great city in ways that they weren't able to. And so that finally happened. It was just a wonderful honor. I could not believe. I'm still in shock over all that. And really, all I've done is taken pictures of other people's work. It's almost feel like I'm, borrowing from them. All that great stuff that happened that Nancy was part of, and many other people, some that aren't with us anymore, made it all happen. And I just happened to be riding my bike by and taking pictures. So it one of those things, and I'm really glad that people out there and want to share it, because that's the whole point. Let get the word out. There's people here and there's people at the college and everywhere around that might be here today because they happen to see some good pictures of Beloit to kind of beat down some of that bad press we get sometimes. So, and anything I can do it doesn't take much. It's not that hard to find out there if you go looking. But I really appreciate it. It's great, Nancy. Thank you very much. And it was a great experience. Wow. The other thing I was going to mention is coming up. We've got the Roy Chapman Andrews thing coming up every year. That's going to be on the agenda here, coming up in March, and that's another great chance to show off Beloit. And there's always those great. Always take advantage of those. And by the way, everybody, when it comes back to the Arts Center, they get 30% of everything sold. So go out there and buy some of this stuff and support the Beloit Arts Center. They are a great institution. They've been around a long time. So, thanks.
Councilor Jacobson.
Thank you. I just wanted to welcome Laura from Public Works and thank her. She inherited a good team of people who have been busy working your first week. So I know they were out, I guess, this weekend and then again tonight. And so I can appreciate the long hours they work and just wanted to recognize them. I think sometimes we always think about police and fire, but Public Works are always working long hours along with their friends in police and fire. Also, I just wanted to mention that the BIF reveal is this Wednesday, so that's exciting, and I hope everyone can attend.
Councilor Anderson.
Thank you. Well, once again, shout out to the plow crew. They did a great job, and they'll be busy tonight. We appreciate you guys, but I know the kids do not, because that means they do not get a day off of school because you do too good of a job. I was always disappointed when I was in high school because I knew the plow crew was going to do such a good job. I would not get a day off. Second, Mark, I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I really wanted to. It looked like a great event. And how long is the stuff on display?
Third week of February.
Okay, so I will try to make it out to one of those. That looks awesome.
10 to 5.
Just a couple things I did. One thing I did was participate in the homeless street count that took place a couple weeks ago. From 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. I was out on the streets trying to see if we had any homeless people in the community. They move around a lot in Rock County. They also do not want to be found, so it was very tough, and we sadly did not find anybody out, but we did leave care packages if needed. So that was interesting. Next one is in July, so if you have any interest in seeing what it's about, please come check it out. Another thing I participated in is I joined a couple young people in the city of Beloit, and we went out and hung out with the kids at Merrill Community Center. We brought food. They demanded pizza right away, and when one of the guys showed up that had it, they definitely became his favorite. Mm-hmm. We also brought games and gave them drinks and just had a good time with them. I think it was definitely something that they need to see, that the community appreciates them and values them and instills a culture of giving back right away. So I hope those kids take that and run with it, and hopefully we'll make this a monthly thing because it was definitely a lot of fun. I think we had more fun than the kids did, honestly. But that's about all I've been doing. I've been just sticking it with it and finishing up school. So thank you.
Councilor Blakely.
Last week, I got to attend the media presentation that Sarah set up so well by the Beloit Police Department about our new use of body-worn cameras. I think they're going to do a lot for veracity, for truthfulness on the part of the police and the public. I think the body cams will promote a lot of trust and certainly transparency. I was fascinated to find out that there are 3 different ways that the body cams are automatically triggered on, and then there are manual ways to turn them on, of course. So that, for instance, if one, I may get the technicalities wrong, but when one camera goes off, police officer within 30 feet, that camera will also go off. So if there's backup coming in, I'm getting that essentially correct from what you understand. Am I, Sarah? For the most part. Don't ask me about them. I know they're being used now. They demonstrated the different varieties that can be worn on various parts of the body. There were news crews from around the state line area, from Madison and Rockford, as well as our own Beloit Daily News. So it got a lot of good coverage, and I think our community can be proud of the police department and its thoroughness going forward. And we'll all look forward to even more trust back and forth.
Vice President Duncan,
Yeah, we went to.
It was at the police
you're already on.
Okay, all right. I was trying to think of the event that I went to with my fellow counselors, and I couldn't think of the name of it.
Oh, sorry. Did you get it?
I couldn't remember what it was, but the reason why is because I've been going through a difficult time. My father passed away on January 19th, and I would just like to say to everybody in the community, we have the most caring community in the whole world. I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for your cards, your caring, and your concern that you've shown me during this difficult time. So I just want to say thank you to the community. That's all I have.
And just a couple of things, and also I will say on her behalf as well that she also celebrated a birthday, so it could contribute to not remembering a lot too, because it happens to me every time I have a birthday too. So, you know, every once in a while you have to, every once in a while you got to get them back, because I remember last year on my birthday I had such a hard time down here because people were talking about how I was forgetting stuff, and I always tell people, be careful because it's going to come back to get you one of these days. So there you go. But I also want to thank our Sarah, because anything that's happening in the city, you're getting a press release right away. So that's not saying that it wasn't happening before, but we're seeing that for people who question, you know, why are we hiring somebody to do that position? It has paid off already with the amount of stuff that you're sending out press releases immediately on the weekends, in the evening, and a person that's been in that position, I know you're up on all night and looking at stuff, and when something happens, they're usually contacting you first before the media. So I just wanted to say good job to you. And then also, I believe it's Pam that puts all the meeting notices on Facebook. So all of the information that's going on the city's Facebook page is greatly appreciated, because a lot of us just continue to share that information. So I think the communication piece has definitely increased over the last year or so. So I want to make sure that we encourage staff and everyone to continue to do that, because that's another way that the community gets informed. And then also, please don't park on the streets this evening. Put a car in the driveway or parking lot, because if you park on the street and they can't shovel and you get plowed in, it's nobody's fault but yours. And this is where I'll also say, the 7 of us down here, our streets are not the first streets that's plowed. We also get plowed in. We also shovel our driveway, and as soon as we get done, the trucks come by and put the snow back in our driveway as well. So we want everyone to know that just because we sit down here, we go through the same struggles as everyone else. So most importantly, please be careful out there. It's very slick.
Mr. President, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but is now the right time to introduce an ordinance in which the city councilor's streets could get plowed first?
There's very few things that I veto before we even talk about it, and that would be one. It is almost approaching election season, and several of us down here are running for re-election, and I don't think we want to take that on right now. We will certainly take that up when it's your turn to run. We'll talk about it then. But be careful out there. Give the drivers, the plow drivers, the salt drivers, plenty of room, because if you can't stop and they make a sudden stop, it could end in an accident. So give them plenty of room and just be patient. Leave and plenty enough time. If you have to be someplace by 7, don't leave at 5 minutes to 7. You probably won't make it on time. So with that being said, that concludes the councilor activities, upcoming events. Item 11 is city manager's presentation. We have none. Item 12, reports from boards and city officers. 12A, please.
Consideration of Resolution 2018-20, approving a second amendment to the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Beloit, the County of Rock, and the Ho-Chunk Nation.
City Manager Luther.
Thank you. You have before you an extension of an intergovernmental agreement that was originally set in March of 2012. That original agreement was a 3-year agreement. It was extended in 2015, and we were requesting another extension that would carry us, hopefully, to project construction in 2021. This particular intergovernmental agreement between the city, Rock County, and the Ho-Chunk Nation contains all of the previously agreed to and negotiated financial and other criteria that are necessary in order for this application to continue to be considered by the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Again, there are no changes to the intergovernmental agreement. I would be happy to respond to any questions. All of the substantive issues that needed to be addressed are included in the 40-page intergovernmental agreement. I did some extensive research upon initially being hired in the city of Beloit, looking at IGAs of similar nature throughout the state of Wisconsin, and was very pleased to see all of the criteria included in this agreement are the best of the components of all of those agreements. So I can say with certainty that I recommend approval of this extension, and we'll just yield to questions.
At this time, I would entertain a motion. Motion by Jacobson. Is there a second? Second by Vice President Duncan. Any questions or comments or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 7-0. Item 12B, please.
The city will adjourn into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 1985-1C to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of a public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, namely to discuss the annual appraisal procedure for City Manager Luther. The City Council will not reconvene into open session.
Is there a motion to go into closed session? Motion by Duncan, second by Preschel. Any questions, comments? All in favor of going into closed session, say aye. 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 Any opposed? Hearing none, this is a friendly reminder that we are in closed session, so please go directly to the
Fourth floor?
fourth floor?
Where are you going here? Which one?
Your preference. Did we post where it was going to be? Okay, let's just go in the.
So we'll go
right
into
here.
the conference room, so. Thank you.
Do you need to stay or do you need to not stay?
Why don't you go home?